In today's video, we're going to start looking at our June 2024 garden tours. We're going to look at some things that are on hold just because they were overwhelming. It didn't matter. We might even harvest the last of the garlic coming up here. We're looking at other experiments and like the succession planting for the Thai yard-long beans behind the peas, controlling Biden's Alba, and future tasks as well that need to come up, kind of making my list of things that have to get done. We do have the Chinese ground orchid put in now. It's a purple flower. It's something small. We also have another angel trumpet in that we'll be looking at here in just a little bit. But yeah, welcome to Bowtie Life, where we talk mostly about life in the garden. I'm Bowtie David. We live in Destin, Florida, Zone 9B. And coming up in the very next few videos, I know we're going to be continuing on. This is the front and side garden tour, and then there are two more garden tours for the backyard because there's a lot more going on back there. So be sure and stick around. Subscribe to Bowtie Life on YouTube. All the videos come out on YouTube first. There goes some irrigation. And you won't miss a thing if you subscribe. It's free. Hit that subscribe button. There's no charge at all for subscribing. It just gets it up on your reminders that when we put out that next video. So, for those of you who have subscribed, got a little bit of wind today. For those of you who have subscribed, you are my heroes. You've helped make Bowtie Life what it is today, and I thank you. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. So as we go through the garden tour, if you have any questions or want to share any experiences you've had with anything we're doing, please do so in the comments. I always like to see information from other people in there because I learn a lot myself. I'm not claiming to be any kind of experienced gardener. I am just trying stuff and I am learning as I go. I'm actually entering into my 5th successful year of gardening this year. So I'm still learning. I'm still the new guy here. We're going to go through the garden tour here, and there's a lot of stuff going on in this front and side garden. First off, like I really have to choose. There are some times when I have to let something go. And like strawberries, for instance, I got the new bed started. I got overwhelmed by a few other projects. I also work a regular job. I'm a handyman, and so if I can't get to the garden, sometimes something has to take a back seat, and this year the strawberries did. We didn't harvest very much. In fact, about all I harvested from the strawberry patch was a few snacks, but I'm not going to stress myself out over it. I want to enjoy this garden. We are going to have a lot of stuff coming out of it. You'll see here at the very end of this particular video, we have something coming out prolifically, and there's actually a bunch of things coming out prolifically, but I just want to enjoy the garden, and sometimes it just means that something's going to take us back seat and I'm going to enjoy another part of it. Now we participated for 34 days. I did not cut my grass, and whew, we got some wind out here. I participated in what's called No Mow May. Now, No Mow May doesn't mean don't mow at all during the month of May. They're trying to get people to reduce the mowing, especially in the spring. And what that is for is all the insects that are coming out of hibernation, getting active. They're looking for food, and they're looking for sustenance. They're looking for shelter. And so in this urban area, a lot of people have completely stripped everything of beneficial food and shelter for these insects that we need to help things grow and pollinate and spread biome. And so I just decided to take the month of May and do my part. And we had a lot of insects in here. I know because we got a lot of lizards. But anyway, and during that, I discovered some kind of an annual ragweed here. I'm not really sure what it is. It is starting to put out flower nodes, and I want to find out what this is, if it's of any value. I've seen it before. I didn't realize, look at how big this is getting. Well, I just pulled the top off here, but this is getting pretty big, about over 4 foot tall. So, you know, just enjoying the garden. We did get rain this morning. The record says 4 to 6 inches. It's not nearly as much as we got last month, but it was a lot of rain. You can see in this video, it came down pretty hard. We did lose power a few times, which happens out here occasionally. We do live right in the heart of Destin, Florida, but yeah, it rained in the front and the back. It didn't get flooded into the back room though, so that was a good thing. It wasn't that deep. And I did discover in our trash can, which was sitting out by the road, surf style, hey dude, big 50 off. Okay, we have banner airplanes flying over all the time. Anyway, so I discovered in the trash can 8 inches. You can see in this photo 8 total inches of water in the trash can. Now it's tapered, so you know it might have been 7 inches of rain, but we got a lot. Another friend, Jim, said he only got 4 inches about 2 miles that way to the east of us. So yeah, it rained, we know that, and there was a lot of lightning. It was more lightning than I think we've seen yet this year. It was a very active storm. So anyway, we do live, like I said, the heart of Destin. We are on a urban plot, suburban plot, 100 feet wide, 106 feet deep, and I have taken out a lot of the grass and put in garden beds. We're growing flowers, we're growing food, we're growing all kinds of things, trees and plants, annuals and perennials. We basically are just trying to see how much we can get out of this property, and I enjoy working it. I enjoy sharing it with you. We're going to go through here though, and in fact, kind of losing my track here. It's already been a long day, but we got this map of the property here that we took. This is the front yard, and we're going to put this in kind of in the corner, and we'll have this icon here. The circle represents the camera, the arrow represents which way it's facing, and we're going to start in the southeast corner of the property where the strawberry patch is, and we're going to work our way through, and this will kind of show you through the video where we are as we're looking at things. But the big thing is, you don't have to have acreage. You don't have to be in the country. You can do this in a property. For 2 years, I gardened on a 14-foot patio in our north-facing apartment, and we grew a lot of food on that little patio. And so the biggest thing here is just be encouraged that you can do this. You can grow something. Even if you just start with a tomato plant. That's how I started. A single tomato plant is how it started. It was given to me. And I grew that thing, and I got so excited that I could actually grow my own tasty tomatoes, that it kind of grew from there. So when we ended up buying our property 2 years later, we end up with a garden like this. So yeah, got a few more notes that we're going to talk about as we get going through here. We did harvest some of the garlic. We'll look at that when we get around to it. So on to the strawberry patch. So there's the trash can I still need to get in, but here you can see the zombie wood chip pile. That used to be a wood chip pile. It's decayed now. It's good soil in there, and I just need to get that thing put into a place. And one of the first places it's going to go is eventually into this strawberry patch, and the strawberry patch is looking rough at best, and I do need to come in here and get rid of some of the weeds and give these things some space. You can see here, it's starting to get stressed because there's other stuff growing in here. You can see this one here has got a whole big old grass growing out of the same hole, and that needs to come out of there, which that's gonna give that plant stress. But we'll have to get in here and do some cleanup just to try to maintain what we have. The interesting thing about strawberries though, even if we lose most of the strawberry plants, I can rebuild this whole bed in a single season by planting and propagating out the little runners that come off the strawberries. It happens very fast. It doesn't take long. Yeah, so there are actually strawberry plants up in here. Yeah, like right here, there's a strawberry plant right there. And they're not doing very well because they're all crowded out by this dollar weed, which we have a ton of here. And I need to figure out how to better control that, which is what this black fabric is. This is the DeWitt landscaping fabric, and I like the idea. I like what it's done so far. We're going to have 3 rows of this. It's a mound, and the strawberries are planted in that compost. So eventually we will have better control over the weeds in here. We have harvested a lot of strawberries out of this bed in past years, and this year about the only thing we've had out of here is snacks. There are a lot of cups down there, solo cups that have strawberry plants. Some of them have failed, some of them are thriving, so we'll get those going. Over here we have a chocolate mint plant, which is just looking huge. It's one of the few. You'll notice the rest of the mint, most of the rest of the mint has been harvested, and it is getting used. Here is our first of the pomegranate trees. I think we have 9 pomegranate trees left on the property, and you can see that if I come around here closer, these pomegranates are developing. And last year we didn't have a lot of pomegranates and we didn't really harvest a lot, but these things are growing something rapid. And so these basically, in fact, let me see if I can find a flower. I don't see any flowers around here, but the flower grows. This is actually the flower, and then the end of the flower starts to swell up. Well, there's one way over there. Let me see if I can get that flower closer to the camera. I am crawling around in here. So there's the flower. I'm trying to get an idea of what it looks like. And then it, as it develops, it swells up with the seed. What are they? The little seed pod. There's little seeds all through there, and you eat the juice around those seeds. So that's a pomegranate tree, and we're going to have some good ones this year, which means we're probably going to have to do something with it. Behind the pomegranate tree, we have one of our first rosemary plants, and this was cut back last time. It will start shooting out new growth and start bulking up and getting thicker, because you can see here, we cut off here, and these are starting to grow more. We cut off somewhere down in right there, and we got 3 shoots. We cut off here, right there. You can see that cut off, and it's starting to grow 4 other branches here. So these things will just start getting thicker and thicker. That used to be a pomegranate tree, but we have too many pomegranate trees out here, so we let some of them go. Brown turkey fig tree. This thing is suffering, but it has looked like this before, and I have just got to get it out of the pot into the ground right here. That's all there is to it, and one of these days I will try to do that. But it is growing, and I want this thing to grow as a single leader up to about 4 or 5, maybe 6 feet tall, so we can open a gate that I'm going to be building at the fence behind me. Yeah, so that is this south edge of the front garden. And if you saw the mums in the last video tour for last month, it's been it has been 4 weeks ago. The mums look so much better. They've come out, they've bloomed, they started opening up. Some of them have actually even started to fade a little bit. I did pick a few sprigs of this for Mrs. Bowtie's picture of flowers, a little vase of flowers on her desk. Above that, we have our hedges, and of course the hedges, we had trimmed them 3 months ago, and they're starting to look a little rough. I am about to go to battle against the ivy. If I look very closely here, you can see that we have ivies growing like crazy down in here. So before I trim these hedges, I am going to have to declare a war on the ivies. And that is going to be a big day. I'm going to record it on camera, but see, they get wrapped all up in there and choke out the branches. You can see there's one right here. Look at those tendrils. Look at those things. They're looking for something to choke. That's just, ugh. So disgusting. No, I just have to get to it. One of these days I will. In fact, by the time this comes out, I will probably be back from my trip already. I'm going out of town for a few days, and I'll be back pretty quickly. But yeah, so before we go on to those pollinator beds, I'm going to turn around, and we are going to look at the area around the artichoke patch. And I'll admit, I'm a little bit aggravated about my artichokes, but first off, looking at the fig tree, you know, you find one thing to be aggravated about, but you find something else to get excited about. There are figs all over this tree, and they're looking beautiful. So hopefully this year we will finally get a significant amount of figs to eat, maybe even to preserve. Probably not enough to preserve. This is only one of 4 fig trees that we have in the ground, and we'll just have to see what we can produce. The yarrow, of course, is starting to fade. It's done its blooming. And then we have the artichokes. Now, I have let this bed go because, I'll be honest, full disclosure, I'm a little disappointed. And I'm told, oh, these things will grow great. These things will grow great. I can't get them to grow, for me, worth anything. In fact, this plant right here was looking fantastic. No, that one right there was looking fantastic. Had multiple stems coming up, and I mean, they are just fading out to nothing. And I'm just a little confused as to why. What is that? I want to show you an insect underneath here. That's interesting. I don't know what that is. So yeah, this one here, this one struggled all last year. There was another one there that died, but this one struggled all last year, and now look at it, it's got multiple stems. I'm waiting for a flower to come out of here, the artichoke to come out, but it hadn't happened yet. I don't know. I don't like to spend much time on this bed because I'm a little frustrated with it. This is the second year with this bed. So, coming around here to the 3 pots that are supposed to have sunchokes in them, I do believe we have one coming up successfully, another one coming up successfully. I don't believe this is sunchoke, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I've got here. I need to figure out what's what. Isn't that annoying? There's some over there coming up. Sunchokes are a root tuber. They are a fantastic substitute for diabetics for potatoes. When you cook them, they taste exactly like potatoes. Now, some people call them fartichokes because they cause gas. As soon as you do any processing, they do not cause gas anymore. You ferment them, you cook them, whatever. And the great thing is, you cook them, they taste just like potatoes. Put some butter on them, throw them in the oven, throw them in a grill, whatever you want to do. They're great. And of course, as we come across the little grass strip from the sunchokes here, we come over here to the lower pollinator, the front pollinator bed. There's 2 pollinator beds. There's one in front of the American Sycamore and one behind back there. Now, this is the time of year that I let this go. And I let it go on purpose because it's wild in here. There's flowers. We have zinnias going in here. I said nasturtium last time, but it's zinnia. We got all kinds of zinnia going in here. We got the yarrow is just laying down. I do need to clean some of that up. It's starting to come out again, and so we'll probably get some more good stuff out of that. It's going to grow thick. Yarrow is an annual, grows year after year after year. Not an annual, a perennial. Correction, sorry. I hate speaking wrong like that. But yeah, yarrow is what we had picked for Mrs. Bowtie's little bud vase last month, and I'm picking zinnia now. In fact, if you stick around, if you just discovered this channel is my own personal log of everything going on in the garden, and these are our small zinnias here. Stick around for the 3rd part where we look at the big zinnias, the giant zinnias in the raised garden bed tour in the backyard. So yes, they're looking great. More of this, some kind of a ragweed that we need to probably get under control. Our Egyptian walking onion, and I've talked about how this does probably every single time. It's called walking onion because it will walk across your garden. And right here is the original line, except for the last plant up there at the top. That last plant was not there. But there were like 11 plants here. Now there's, I don't know, 15. What happens here as this plant grows? Now mind you, this cluster right here, last year, or no, yeah, beginning about a little over a year ago, I planted this as 1 or 2 little strands of this stuff. And now look at it, it's dozens of them. And the way it grows, you see, it gets this little bulbule, this little cluster of bulbules up here, and it gets heavier and heavier and heavier until it gets so heavy, it bends over and touches the ground. And I bet I can find one really quick, like this right here is getting heavy. Here's one that's gonna get heavy, but that's gonna touch the ground and grow a whole new set of plant just like this. And you can pull that whole cluster up, break it in half, break it in third, break it in 2 to 3 strands a piece and plant a bunch of these. But given time, that thing will literally grow across your garden. Now, these things are growing out in the grass. I do run the mower up here to keep them out of the grass this much. I will try to train them to go that way in the garden. We do have our angel trumpet. This is the yellow angel trumpet. And we have some news about angel trumpets here in just a moment. But be sure to subscribe to see how these things go. This is a beautiful plant. It is toxic though. So if you have pets or kids that like to eat things in your garden, you do not want to have one of these. This is up in my yard. It is, we don't have kids, we don't have pets. So I'm growing these in a kind of a controlled environment back here out of the way. Over here, this little tiny thing, let me see if I can step in here without stepping on too much. This is a Chinese orchid, ground orchid. Has a beautiful little purple flower, and that should be blooming again here pretty soon. When I first saw that, it was about 3 foot tall and just this massive cluster of stems like those two right there, and it just had all kinds of purple flowers. If you watch our channel much, you'll know I'm focusing on purple and yellow, though we do all kinds of colors. Now, this is yarrow. Notice these. See, I did it again. That's yarrow over there. This is zinnia, okay? And you see it's growing a new little stem over here and over here. That's zinnia. This over here is Mexican rough clover. It looks very similar, except the flower, until the flower comes up, then it's obvious. But the Mexican rough clover, I do pull that occasionally. All these little dollar weed, these get pulled all the time. I am going to be doing an experiment here soon. Saw someone commented about fermenting dollar weed, the leaves of the dollar weed, and so I am going to try it. We have so much dollar weed. Oh, we could have we could have a regular kraut, dollar weed kraut. I want to try that, so I'm just going to do a small batch of it. But so there's that Chinese ground orchid, and here is our brand new Brugmansia sanguinaea. It is a angel trumpet, except this one, Sanguinaea, is red, and it's beautiful. And so we got a red one here and a yellow one over there. I'm kind of interested to see how they look together. It was given to me by a friend. Very excited about that. You might remember that I had some milkweed down here, and my numbers are dwindling. There's 3 there, but now I only have 1 here. And this is the pot where I had the yellow aphids. Was it aphids? Yeah, I think it was. Oh, did I just? No, I think I may have just pulled a regrow. Oh well. Yeah, we've got to get these in the garden somewhere to where they can start to thrive and multiply. I'd like for these to multiply. Ragweed, you know what that's for? Monarchs. Monarchs. That's the only place that they reproduce on, and so always wanted to be a supporter of that. So that's why I have that. Up here we have a chocolate mint with a little lizard on the side over here. Whoop, where'd he go? He just jumped. Anyway, the chocolate mint, this thing was huge. I just harvested a whole bunch of this, and it'll grow back. It's not a worry. Chocolate mint. I've got mint all over the place. Helps slow down squirrels, helps slow down rodents and stuff. So more of this ragweed right here, and yes, I'm going to have to pull this out. I did a little more research. I started this video yesterday. Today is Sunday, the 2nd of June, and I've got to get this under control. We don't need that. This is another thing I want to get under control that I can't remember what it is, but it's got all kinds of little berries forming on there, and I don't want to let that seed too much, though I will let it seed some because it is, it's pretty. It's got a pretty flower, and the bees seem to like it. Here's some more of those zinnias over here. You'll see them all throughout here. Now this is a double zinnia. You see how it has more petals on it? That's a double zinnia. This is a normal zinnia down here. See how it only has 1 or 2 rows of petals around it? So when you get double zinnias, you get this more, looks more like a carnation or something, I guess. I don't know. I'm not big on those types of flowers, decorative flowers and stuff, but I do like to get some in here. My bird bath, that's going to get cleaned up here pretty soon. It does have a little dirt in it, a tiny bit of algae, but we got to get that. I see there's a big American Sycamore leaf underneath there, which is one of the things that I do fight, but they go in compost. Okay, so this area right here, in fact, let me show you this from the other side before I pulled all the Biden's Alba, and you can see here, it was full of Biden's Alba through here. Now there is a really thick DeWitt commercial ground fabric underneath here, and I've got to clean off the dirt that's gathered up on top of here, and I should have done that last year, but the Biden's Alba are growing through the fabric, so you have to step on it, and then you can pull the root ball through, and it pulls it up. But I like the Biden's Alba. It creates those beautiful little yellow and white flowers. The bees love it, so I let it go a very, very long time, and then I'll pull a whole bunch of them in an area. In fact, if you look over at the trash can over there, you can see it's full of them. That's it right there in the middle, the brown one. So yeah, I do like having these grow just for the bees. We do have bees. We do have a bee box, and well, we normally do. We don't have one right now. Hopefully by the time we get around to the outer garden bed tour, we will have one again. We have moved it a little bit, moved the pedestal a little ways though. So this back pollinator garden, I see a zinnia right there that doesn't have a flower yet. There's a red zinnia hidden down over there. There are a lot of zinnias in here. I didn't grow any nasturtium this year just because I didn't get to it. There are amaryllis right there, that long stalk, and then there's several amaryllis leaves. A lot of things are buried by other weeds that I need to pull. However, I'm very hesitant to pull these because these little yellow flowers right here, the bees like these, which is why I leave things sometimes, is the bees like these little flowers, and I'll let them have them, and then I'll pull them up when they start getting out of control. Now underneath here you see we have a TI plant, and this thing is growing out a lot stronger than last year, which is very cool. Last year I think it was 1 or 2 stems, and I'm looking down there, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 stems at least, if not 5, but I can see 4 stems. But we've got 5 of those along here. There's one here, there's one right there, there's another one hidden down in there. You can barely see it, and it'll thrive once I start clearing out the weeds, the extra stuff. But there's the first one we saw. Then over here there's another one, and then there's a 5th one right there. So we got an odd number across here behind in the back pollinator bed. Look at there, more zinnias coming out. And zinnias, you know, they'll grow, they'll thrive for a while, and then they fade, and I plant more. And what I'll do is I'll take a flower like this right here, we'll pop it off. This is not quite dry enough, but when you break this up, yeah, it's still very wet, but look at, that's all seeds in there. Look at all those seeds, just hundreds of them. And so you just take those and break them up and spread them around. Now I will be focusing eventually on more double zinnias and more giant zinnias, but that's all you do with a zinnia. Just drop them, put them in there, and the wind will blow them around. The birds might eat some of them, but some of them are going to grow. There will be more zinnias in this area. So yeah, we do have some cleanup to do in here. We'll do in the next week or 2 maybe, depending on, I've got a trip coming up, and I have a large project starting. So hopefully I'll be able to show you a little bit of video of this project. It's kind of a cool one. So the shrubs, I don't think I talked about the hedgerow here. We have azaleas, we have boxwood, we have ligustrum, I think right there. We have several different types. They've all gone through their flowering. I did a bad job keeping up with the trimming of these this year, and so Kind of messed them up a little bit, but I do need to get them. And I did mention earlier, I'm going to be going on into a war with the ivy growing in there and various places in the property. So we will start some cleanup of that real soon. So from there, I'm standing with my back toward the American. Oh, I guess we got to look at the trees real quick because they're kind of getting interesting. Not the American Sycamore. Now, look at the bark at this. This is not sick bark, okay? This is the way it grows. It sheds little pieces of bark. In fact, here's a little video I took after the storm yesterday, Saturday morning, June 1st, that blew all the bark in this direction and just made a mess, it looks like. But I just mowed over it and it breaks up real easy. It's not so thick. It's cardboard, cardstock thick. But yeah, that's the American Sycamore tree. It loses those leaves in high winds. We did lose a few yesterday. Doesn't look like it though, does it? Maybe a little bit thinner, but it does let go of leaves as it needs to. The crepe myrtles. Okay, so this was kind of cool. After the May garden tour, this thing at the May garden tour I don't remember if it had any flowers or if it just had the one flower over here. If it did, it was just this little branch right here that was flowering. But now it's got flowers everywhere. It is beautiful. And it will eventually be covered with pink flowers, but it's starting here, beginning of June. Look at that tree over there, looking beautiful. I like the pink ones; they're awesome. The doomed pear tree is still doomed, of course. I still pick things up. One of these days, I'll get the chainsaw, I'll cut that down. The cedar tree and the pindo date. In fact, let me see if I can zoom in here. This pindo date. One of these years, I will harvest again, and we harvested 2 years ago. See all those little tiny yellow flowers up there? Here pretty soon, those are going to be covered with bees. Just absolutely covered. And these dates, these pindo dates are edible. And they're not the kind you just sit there and eat like some of the dates you're familiar with. These are better for either wine making or making jams and so forth. A little bit different critter, but we do have to cut out some of the dead fronds out from under here. So now I have my back to the American Sycamore tree one more time. We have the top two of the 5-tier beds, and there's something new growing here. We have down here one of Jim's German pink tomato plants. It's a potato leaf plant. It is indeterminate, so it'll grow up this trellis, and it is actually starting to thrive and look good. I just put this in the ground maybe a week ago, and it is getting ready to go. Now, I don't have anything else for a ways down here until you get to the Thai yard-long beans. And these are really starting to, look at this thing. It's taken off up here, it's grown over there. And some of there's another one over yonder that's grown way up, almost to the top of the post. So these Thai yard-long beans will be thriving. I did just cut the grass here, and yeah. So it's looking good. I'm very excited about that. We're going to see how these Thai yard-long beans grow under this shade cloth. I think they're going to thrive well. I'm very hopeful. Okay, so over here we have the Inchilium Red garlic. Now these, typically what I do with my garlic is I will leave them on there until they start turning about that brown. And these are really ready to go. You see all the leaves are starting to look weathered and brown, and there are several days now. I'm still not good with garlic. I'll admit, I can admit that freely. I'm still working on figuring out garlic. So these are, yes, very small, very disappointing. This is a stiff neck garlic. It's not ideal for this area, but we'll still use them. They're still good garlic. But yeah, this is, I'm still working on figuring out garlic. I like the elephant garlic because they're so much bigger, and so does Mrs. Bowtie. This is that Mexican rough clover that I was talking about earlier. It grows all over the place as well. So down the row, I'll pick the rest of that here later, but we have one of our kale plants, and it's going strong. I just ate a leaf off of there. It's very good. We have our cauliflower, which is supposed to have been seeding out. In fact, let me just show you over here. That is the seed pods there, but they're very small. And a lot of them are falling off. So this is kind of failing. Now we did have a couple of onions grow, 4 onions growing in here. And I just picked them yesterday. Let me show you a little video of what they look like. They're not, again, not huge, kind of like the garlic. I'm still figuring them out. And I need more practice, folks. I'm not a pro gardener here. I'm just a guy learning. So one of these days, stick around, be sure to subscribe. So when I do finally discover how to grow good onions, yeah, Kevin Espiritu got some good onions, and I still don't understand what he's doing. Of course, he lives in a very different climate than we do, so I have to take that into consideration. Another chocolate mint bag over there. I will go to the other side of the this arch trellis, and you can see we have a rosemary still left over here, and we also have, if you watched the last video, we up-potted some basil. Is it the last video or is that the next video? Well, it's not come out yet. It'll be the next video. Anyway, so we up-potted some basil that's going to be going in here and go along next to this. Last year we had some basil in here. It did real well. We had basil in a few other areas, but yes, I know, I keep saying it. There's going to be 3 more tier beds down here, and they will get here one day. Another plant I have challenges with is asparagus. Now there actually is a grow bag underneath all that grass that I need to get out of there, but we have one asparagus plant growing over here. It looks really good. We actually ate a few. I'm pretty sure it is a female asparagus plant, which doesn't produce a lot of shoots. I need to start seeding out some new ones this summer so that we can start a few more next year. I will be putting the tarp in this area again. I will, however, be putting in a couple more basil down here. This is the primary basil plants that friends and neighbors will come by and pick from. So I might put 2 or 3 of them along here since it's such a popular spot. There's one yarrow that looks just terribly flattened out, and I will again be trimming that up, and we will get that thing under control. Here past our dead citrus orchard, we have our live grape arbor, and this thing is really looking strong. We have lots and lots and lots and lots of grapes coming out. In fact, if I come up here, you can see some right there. They're not huge bunches, but they are bunches, and I wonder if maybe the birds are getting some of these. I don't know, but yeah, there are grapes all over this. This is a 3rd year arbor, and we're hoping to eventually be able to get some. These are scuppernong grapes, and get some stuff for either jelly or, I don't know, maybe some wine eventually if we figure out how to do that. But it's just gorgeous under here. It's like 5 degrees cooler when you walk through this tunnel. It's awesome. So a little update on the grow bags. There are no potatoes over here. We moved those over behind the bed number 2, in the raised bed number 2, so you can watch part 3. We still have our carrots in here. We have 3 grow bags of carrots there and another grow bag of carrots down in here. And we have our little, I think spearmint. I've been calling it mountain mint, but I know it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not. I think it's just spearmint. We have more Biden's Alba. There's a big pile of grow bags underneath there that I just need to dig out. All this area is covered by that DeWitt landscape fabric that I need to get under control, which is obviously not under control. And of course, we come around here to the blueberries. And let me tell you something. We are about to have 4 people come over and help pick blueberries. These things are delish. These blueberries are absolutely amazing. Oh, I see one right there. We have picked around 20 pounds of them. I'm working on picking that one right there. Oh. Some of them are very sweet, but there's a lot of blueberries. There's probably about 10 pounds of blueberries. We were supposed to pick yesterday morning, but it rained and lightninged. And so I think I know a lot of them blew off. And this blueberry patch probably has 10 pounds of blueberries, but I don't think my guests today expect to be picking that much. I'm going to give them some buckets to pick with here, but we'll see what happens. So, in fact, I've actually put in a little yellow rope. You can see the yellow rope right there. It actually is a path through here. There's walkway. You can get all the way up in there, and you can see way over there, just barely, is the yellow rope right there. It comes out the other side. So, anyway, we will be all up in here. In fact, they're on their way right now, so I'd imagine they're probably about to pull up any second. I'll probably do the rest of this video after that. Well, that was productive. Oh. So we had 4 people over picking blueberries. I picked along with them. Between us, we picked a total of 7 pounds of blueberries and 5 pounds of blackberries, not counting what we ate, because I know we all ate quite a few. But it was fun, and while we did that, of course, 4 other people came by for a garden tour, and I always like showing people what we're doing here, and hopefully some people get some ideas, get some inspiration. It's really what this is all about, and as far as inviting y'all along. So yeah, thanks for following along today, and for those of you who have subscribed already to the channel, really appreciate you subscribing, and you help make Bowtie Life what it is today. We are trying to grow the channel to the next level, and once we get to that point, we will be able to do so much more here. And for those of you just finding this is my own personal journal, as I mentioned earlier. It's reminders for me of what's going on, and you're just welcome to join along with me. I like to share results of experiments and the processes that I'm going through, and the thought processes, and what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm not out here trying to grow the biggest blueberries. I'm not out here trying to grow the biggest harvest of anything. I'm just trying to make some and enjoy the garden, make some food and enjoy the garden. And so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing to YouTube, Bowtie Life on YouTube, and it's free. All you have to do is click that subscribe button on this video, and it'll let you know when we come out with another video. And that's the big thing. We are just starting our June garden tours. We do these garden tours every month. We've been doing this for, wow, 27, this is the 27th month we've been doing this in a row. And so if you're looking for inspiration or ideas or whatever, I hope that some of the things that are happening around here can help you out, and maybe give you a brainstorm for your garden. Maybe just inspire you to grow a tomato. I think I already said that. I grew a tomato. Now I'm participating in No Mow May. In fact, I don't know if I mentioned the yard here. I just mowed the front yard. The backyard isn't even cut yet, but I let the grass and flowers grow in the yard to allow all those new insects and critters to have food and supplies and shelter to live in while they're waking up for the spring. Now, this is really more in the north here in Florida. It's going to be No Mow March, and because in March, that's when those bees are waking up and getting moving and looking for food. And so I want this place to be a place that they know they can come to and find pollen and nectar. And I see zinnias growing over here, and I don't remember ever planting seeds over here. That's interesting. More examples, just whatever can grow here and look beautiful. Zinnias, I mean, how much good does that get? How easy is it to grow zinnias? Once the flowers die, you break them off and spread out the seeds, you have more zinnias by the hundreds of them. And so it's very easy to do. Another way you can help grow the channel is click the thumbs up and share this video on your social media, YouTube and WhatsApp and various places. It's very important. In fact, the sharing of the videos is probably the best way to show your friends. Maybe your friends are looking for inspiration for something we're doing here. Please do share it. So yeah, lots of blueberries. You stick around for the 2 garden tours in the backyard. We have the outer beds. There's tons of stuff growing out there. And we have the raised beds in the backyard. So stick around and follow along. Y'all have a blessed day.